Well, we support free and open trade, so we give this a welcome, but also a cautious welcome, because what we've experienced over the past few years is that when the government has signed trade deals, very often, once you look at the detail, they're not quite as advantageous as the government has first claimed. But on the face of it, this can give us new opportunities to trade with fast-growing economies around the world. British business, British companies have great strengths, so having access to new and growing markets could be a boost to the economy. Although I do note that in the government's own press release, the boost that they estimate to the economy looks pretty small over the next 10 years.
Well, yes, I'll come on to that. But just to say then, if Labour were to win the next election, you would keep Britain inside this bloc?
Oh, I think it's really important that when our government signs international agreements, they don't think that a successor government is going to tear them all up. We've had a terrible knock to our international reputation with the current government signing a free trade agreement with the European Union and then threatening to set parts of it aside unilaterally. That's not the approach that the Labour Party or a Labour government would take.
Well, on the subject of the European Union, you mentioned there that the government's own statistics suggest that the economic growth that would come as a result of this deal amounts to only about 0.08%. The hit that the OBR estimates that Brexit has caused the economy is more like 4%. Do you think our efforts should be more concentrated on deepening economic ties with our near neighbours in the EU rather than these countries that are further away and we do less trade with?
Well, I think the figures you've just quoted put the benefits of this new trade agreement into some perspective compared to what we are expected to lose over the coming years as a result of the Brexit decision. But the Brexit decision has been taken. It doesn't mean that the arrangements that we currently have can never be revisited in any way. And that's why, for example, we have said we would like to see a veterinary agreement between the UK and the EU to help our food and drink exporters. We'd like to see mutual recognition of professional qualifications to help our service industries. None of that is rerunning the Brexit argument, but I do think that we need an adult and positive relationship with our nearest neighbours and our biggest trading partner in the European Union as well. And by the way, the Russian invasion of Ukraine has perhaps made that more imperative, because it's put into perspective some of the things that we've been arguing about in recent years. And what we realise when these awful events happen is that our fellow democracies across the Channel are actually much closer to us and real allies when you see these terrible, aggressive geopolitical events happening on the continent of Europe.
China applied to join this bloc at the same time as the UK. Do you have any concerns about them being given membership as well?
Well, our approach to China is one of realism. You can't wish China away. It's a really important trading partner for businesses. I'm speaking to you from here in the West Midlands, where the trading relationship with China is important. But I think we've got to be clear-eyed about it as well. And some of the rhetoric that we had about the golden era from George Osborne and David Cameron some years ago looks a little bit naive now. So I think a clear-eyed, realistic approach to China, which maintains a trading relationship, but is also very alert on the security front and on the intelligence front, is the right way to proceed.
I wonder, while we've got you, if I can just get your reaction to the big news that we got late last night, that former US President Donald Trump is being criminally indicted. What is your reaction to that news?
Well, obviously, it's for the American justice system to decide if there are any charges to proceed and any conviction to make. What I would say when I look at some of the rhetoric and response is, what you'll always get with some of these politicians is them proclaiming to be the people against the institutions. And it really is a supreme conceit for any single person or any politician to cast themselves as the people. There is no amorphous the people. There are millions of different people with millions of different views, and no single person can try to embody the whole populace in their own person. It's a trend that we've seen in politics in recent years, and a deeply unhealthy one.
Well, Pat McFadden, Shadow Chief Secretary to the Treasury, we appreciate your time this morning. Thanks very much indeed.